Starting soon. What is up? Welcome back to another episode of the Album Book Club. This week we are checking out ATBPO and the band Played On by Night Ranger. This is their 11th album. It came out in 2021. Something just did not like what happened.
What?
My headphones peeked out for a second. I mean, you can't say much about Night Ranger. This is, like I said, their 11th album. They've been kicking it since the 80s. Going pretty hard. Everyone knows Sister Christian, at least in America, so I think we just roll right into our top three. How you guys feel?
Yeah, we're done.
How do I start?
I will.
You want to start?
You start.
I'll start.
I'll just end it.
My top three were Breakout, Tomorrow, and Cold December.
I had Tomorrow, Breakout, and Monkey.
Crazy. I had Breakout, Cold December, and Monkey.
I had
Whoa.
Breakout, Lucky Man, and The Hardest Road.
You ruined it.
All right, let's go on to our bottom track. Sorry.
My bottom track was The Hardest Road.
Wait, hold on. Say that again, please.
My bottom track was The Hardest Road.
Mine was Can't Afford a Hero.
Mine was Hard to Make It Easy.
Mine was Cold as December.
Hey, we right here, bro.
We're going to have some
We right
fights.
Nah, dude, we right here, bro.
All right. Let's get right into track one. Coming for You. Gave this a 7 out of 10.
I gave this a 6 out of 10.
I also gave it a 6.
I gave it a 7.5.
Oh, shit. I got to start this. All right, I'm going to get it off the bat. Almost every single one of these notes starts off with a sick-ass intro, so I'm just not going to say it every time. It's here now. Watch back to here if you want to hear that note again. This song has drive. It's great. The vocals are pretty solid for someone who's been doing it for, 40 years, and that's in the business. That's not to say what came prior. So they're not too complainable. The solo on this song was okay. I think it fit the song, but it just left me wanting. But there was just a lot of presence to everything in the song. It had energy, which I guess you're kind of feeling, or needing to feel for an 80s rock group.
Yeah, I had really similar notes, but also the police siren.
Oh, good.
It got
okay.
me
Yep.
twice
Me too.
in the
Yep.
car where I had to mute the music to make sure that I didn't need to pull over.
Yeah, I am not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Usually I can tell when it's in a song, but this one got me every single time.
So I realized that I watched it with the music video, so I was waiting for someone else to say it because I was like, oh crap, maybe it was just in the music video. But no, it was definitely in the track. Okay.
I was just chilling at work. I didn't have to worry about that, man.
By the time I listened to it today, I knew it was coming. So.
Yeah, I think if that wasn't there, I'd probably agree with you guys on score. What we didn't talk about, there's a sick halftime breakdown. And actually a lot of these songs,
Yeah.
but it was a surprise here.
Yeah. Sucker for halftime.
I did say it's a little repetitive. I'll probably talk about that a lot. And it's not anything bad. I just think you could have taken a chorus off of all of these songs or done something a little shorter.
You're not wrong, but there is one later that suffered for how repetitive it was.
Anybody got it? Anyone got anything else to say?
Nope.
Alrighty, we'll move right on to track 2. Bring It All Home to Me. I gave this a 6 out of 10.
I gave this one a 5.
5.
6.
Look, man, this is like a rock song. It was very like AC/DC-esque to me. It was very generic, 3-chord, go, good, but like just generic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no.
Go.
Yeah. About the same. I'm just gonna kind of like. I am not the demographic for this album, and I apologize for any discretions I may have. But it's none of it was bad by any means, but just not really my alley.
We talked about it earlier, and it's no offense to Night Ranger. I think their demographic's probably 25 years older than us.
Yeah.
It for me it was
Or
just
Logan.
or Logan.
Yes.
Yeah. Logan's the weirdo, not us.
That's so very true.
I don't know. I wrote at this point. I just struggle with the vocals on this album because at points they're really rough, but at points there's so much auto tune that it latches. And I don't remember which one it was on this track. I just wrote still not into the vocals. So
Yeah, this song, I mean, it's catchy. It's pretty much what I expected on this album, except for the like accent synth parts. It happens a couple times in this album, and there's not a time later that I care for it less than I do here. I did not like them on this song at all. But yeah, I mean, everything else, it's kind of just the formula of this album. Solo's fine. Everything else is fine. I have votes about... Jesus. I have notes about the vocals later, just not on this song.
Alrighty, we ready to move on to the next track? I feel like a moderator. Alrighty, this brings us to track 3, Breakout. Gave this a 9 out of 10.
I gave this a 7.
yeah, I gave it a 7.
Gave it an 8.
So there's a story to this song. I was very fortunate enough to meet Brad Gillis, the guitar player for Night Ranger, after this album had come out, to which he was very adamant that I listen to this song. And it has been in my playlist ever since. And it's a great song. So that is probably why it gets such a high score. But it's just got a lot of energy. It goes nuts. Everything's fun.
Oh,
It's just, you want to jam.
So it sounds a lot meaner coming out, but I wrote instrumental is a 9 without the vocals. I think I really agree with you on all the strong parts of this song. Just the vocals were rough, and then whenever there's haze in a song, it typically loses a point for me, and there were haze in this one. So
This song actually reminds me a lot of one of my Song of the Days. There were parts where it could have been the same song, but I like that song, so I like this one. And they did the synth better in this one. They immediately turned it around and did it better than the song before it. So,
I mean, again, I'm a sucker for halftime, and literally in between every verse, there was this really cool halftime part that I liked a lot, and the intro was really fun. I like the guitar work in the intro a lot.
yeah, we hear a lot of the harmonized guitar on the whole album. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't the first time it showed up, but the two guys playing together, the way they do it is really clear throughout the whole album. So there's a lot of practice put in to get that done.
Oh yeah, the guitar work is so fun because you definitely have the two like styles coming together, like the old school '80s rocker and then the like younger new school guy, and it just makes for a fun thing because you get all these weird whammy noises that are happening in there, all the like boings and shit. That is like
I heard some crickets. Like,
so it's like you're just getting all this weird, fun, like different technique shit to just make noise and have fun. This is just say what you want about the entire album or any song off the album. It's just fun.
Yeah.
They went in there. They're like, yeah, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna do it.
well, and I think he's had that same Fender for the last 40
like
years.
yeah, he's been on tour with it forever.
So I mean, I really like that they tried to be more modern. You know, some of this is definitely like, oh, it's 80s rock. Some of it's a little, phoned in, but they really tried to bring in modern influences through the whole album. And it comes out a lot in the guitar work, but it comes out other places. Sometimes a little disingenuous, but it does. I mean, they tried, so I give them huge points for that.
Speaking of disingenuous, let's move right into our next track, Hard to Make It Easy, which did get an 8 out of 10.
I gave this song a 5 out of 10.
I gave this one a 6.
4.
Who wants it?
I can take it. This song is way too repetitive. I teased this note a couple songs ago. That's all they say the same thing over and over again for the whole song.
I would have thought you hated it because it's a country Christmas song.
I did write down that it sounded like a Christmas
Oh,
song.
no, I got you beat. I wrote, this is the new theme song to a Tim Allen show.
Oh, yeah.
This is the two genres of music I probably hate the most, so...
I think the reason I like this song is the reason most would hate it is just it was catchy and fun, and it sat right in the perfect spot of the background in my brain while I was walking around doing things. This is the perfect song to have on at like Walmart or Target or something while you're shopping because you're like, this is on. Heck yeah. And then you just keep going about your day.
There's also a weird effect during the guitar solo that kind of makes it sound like the guitar is glitching out of the song itself, and I hated that as well. But I did write down that that this probably would be a really fun song to hear live.
I think Night Ranger would just be really fun to see live.
That's true.
So this is the one that I wrote, the auto-tune was latching too hard. There's a point where he does a vocal slide, and it goes up in chromatic steps as it clips across the auto-tune, and I was literally like, come on, guys. Like, I get it, but, like, T-Pain effect doesn't belong in here. So, I mean, I guess most people probably wouldn't catch it, but...
That's the thing is we're, like, the group of guys you don't want to touch your album.
Oh, no, 100%, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of musicians and studio guys and people that are really particular. This is not fair for any of us to listen to the thing, and especially to critique it. We're looking for things we don't like. So
there's a bunch of guys without 11 studio albums.
Yeah, sitting on a couch.
All right, 11 paid studio albums.
I think I have 12.
Yeah, no, I don't get
Count
paid.
Big Dale
I don't
and-
get paid
and
to
Pop.
do this.
this did have one of my favorite 80s cliches, though. It's where everyone stops playing except the bass drum playing like doom, 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 and they sing over top. That's one of my favorite 80s cliches.
Yeah, the crowd chant.
Yeah. Oh, there's some more of it later.
Oh, yeah. All right. Anyone else have anything to say about this very honky-tonk Christmas?
I did just say it, but I do think this album is better than most of the ones that I've made.
Most. Gotta clarify.
Hey, Jeffrey's got like 2 or 3 in there.
Not even Dale's one that got reviewed on the cat.
That one's good too.
All right.
These other 2 are not beating this.
Let's move right on to track number 5. Can't Afford a Hero. Give this a 7.5.
Gave it a 6.
You're not gonna like it. I gave it a 3.
Gave it a 5.
It's your 3 because it turns into every rose like every other.
I just hated the whole thing. I was literally trying to come up with like good things about the song, and I literally wrote, "Oh, it doesn't have a rap section at least." Dude, anytime you get whoa-ohs, anytime you get, I just didn't like anything. It's hard for me to be like, ugh. And I get it. You know, if it was on a classic rock radio station, I would have been like, oh, okay. You know, it's not Metallica. I wouldn't have changed the station, but I would have waited for the next song. I don't know. It wasn't the worst thing. It wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, I didn't like how much it slowed down, but also I think it had to do something. I think that we were too many in a row of almost the same song. It had to switch it up, but I didn't care for this one as much.
Yeah.
Definitely right spot for it, but
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like I actually really liked the contrast from where it was to where it went on this one.
Mhm.
It felt like a nice transition into something a little different.
Yeah, I'm a slut for a good ballad, and frankly, I thought this hit the marks. I like Night Ranger's ballads. I think they're their best songs. I mean, Sister Christian is the song everyone knows. It's a ballad. And this song doesn't sound like that to me, but I just, for frame of reference, I thought this was great. It did turn out a little like Every Rose Has Its Thorn at one point. There's a line that was very similar, and like the exact same strum pattern was used. I'm like, that was definitely an accident, but this was probably a reference track.
This is where I really noticed how, I won't say bad, but how poorly 80s style lyrics have aged compared to what we're used to. We kind of were like, man, who wrote these? And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh, it's the right style for the genre, but compared to their contemporaries, it comes off kind of childish sometimes. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but this is where I noticed it, was this track.
It's definitely like a 20-year-old party drinker mindset in the lyrics. It always has been. It's always been sex, drugs, rock and roll. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to think that way, and it's fun to write that way. I love doing it, but I'll be damned if I'm not in bed at like 10 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, this is past my bedtime.
Oh, yeah.
See, I don't know. I was just thinking about this because, like, I don't know why I didn't vibe with this album as much as some of the other ones, because I was the one that was defending Stradivarius when we did it, and that's probably the closest thing since. So
that is true.
The way I look at this is kind of the same way I look at like Motley Crue's 2011 album, where it's like, it's guys who had their heyday, they were at the top, and they want to keep doing it, and I respect it. But maybe just stick to the classics. And it's not even because you're putting something out that's wrong, it's just the game has changed so damn much. What's popping off right now in rock isn't this. This is still, I would say, 10 years old in sound for 2021. This is a 2011 album that came out in 2021. Do I like the sound of it? Yes. I'm sitting here praising it. I love the whole thing. But it's an old sound that isn't going to get a new audience. Your old audience isn't going to be captivated by it. So you're living in the middle ground of people who didn't grow out of like 2011.
Maybe you might be right. Do you know what year Nightmare came out by Avenged Sevenfold?
Around then-ish.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that's
It might have been 09.
It's such a weird thing to say, but that album reminded me of this album in a lot of different places, and so that makes sense with the sound. I was trying to think of like
structures.
Yeah, because it definitely doesn't feel like a 2021 album. It has this kind of, and I think it's because of the combo of stuff, because it has this like warm retro, I remember the 80s vibe, but it's newer enough that it I don't know, for some reason that was when I landed too. So it was really interesting that you said that.
The way I always like to look at it is the music industry is slightly behind the film industry, and while we got Saw in the early 2000s, that kind of dirty music really hit in like the 2011s the same way that it hit like with grunge and like the 80s horror and stuff like that back then. So it got real dirty in the early 2010s, and this is just what that is.
It's just cycles. I heard a theory once that the music cycle was on 27 years, and that's why it's such it's like the bad, what am I thinking of? 27 Club. Kurt Cobain and all those.
Forever 27.
Right. Yeah, I heard someone saying that was because the music cycle lives on 27-year cycles, and I looked at them and I squinted, and now that you said that, when did Night Ranger first come out? Was it like
83 or so?
83? So
82,
2011.
my bad.
Oh, okay. So 2011 would have been the 27-year cycle from 84? Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. That's funny.
The Sister Christian album was 83. So their
Okay.
pretty big album was 83. So yeah, about
So, conspiracy confirmed, I guess. Interesting.
Yes.
all right.
Confirmed.
Let's talk about track 6 now. Right? Cold as December. Anyone stop me if I'm wrong.
No,
Don't
you're
think
right.
so.
No,
You
you
got
right,
it.
dog. You right.
Gave
you
this a 5 out of 10.
Gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Give it a 4.5.
I gave this one a 6.
Oh,
Good.
so I'm in the median. This is my lowest song.
I kind of want to start this one. The first 45 seconds of this song, awesome. Like, so good. And then I'm not going to lie, like, once it goes into the verse, I just kind of felt a little let down. Because you had this killer idea, and then it didn't really get expanded on. It just kind of felt like it got dropped and forgotten about. That's my view on it. But I still really that's why the 6 is there, because the intro was so good.
Here's the very unfortunate thing about this band is there's a lot of talent in it, right?
Yeah.
And their bass player is their singer.
Mhm.
If they wanted to continue to go on and then make another big push for success, they would have to replace the singer. But they don't care about that. This
Right.
is they were just like, yeah, we're gonna do another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, it was like, I'm
Can't even be mad about that.
exactly. So it was like, I don't like the vocals on this track, but also, fuck, dude, he's been doing it for so damn long. He's gonna have a bad one every once in a while.
So the other caveat I'll make, versus my score is we always do not their best album on Album Book Club. We have never reviewed a band's best album. It's the same
Sabrina
thing.
Carpenter we got,
Okay.
but that's the only one.
Was it? I wasn't on that one, was it? Was it?
No.
No.
I think Witchy was.
Yep.
Was in your place.
Yeah, you had to miss that week.
I do want to disagree with Logan, though. I did actually like the vocals on this song. I thought it was the first time that it was mixed well with the background vocals.
See, maybe that was the complaint, was just they were brought more forward. And I was like,
That might be it.
ooh.
But there were multiple times in the first 2 or 3 songs where I was like, these are clashing with each other. The background vocals just are hurting the main vocals, and this is the first time that they were really solid.
Mhm.
And it wasn't just they broke formula a little bit. The guitar solo had breaks where it went back and forth with the vocals, and then it went into the 2-minute guitar solo. But they broke it up a little bit. It was different than some of the other ones. I was here for the change.
Didn't hate the vocals, just wasn't behind them.
I had a note that I didn't like the vocals either. You don't have to feel bad. There was a cool halftime under the guitar thing in this one. I think that's why it got an extra half a point.
Alrighty, we're ready to move on to track 7.
It's fine.
What, you took a big pause.
Sorry, I don't know. It's fine. Everything's good.
Would you like to go?
What? No. You go ahead.
What? Nah.
I don't want anything to do with that.
Why am I here?
No, I thought I had more to say. That's what it was. I was like, wait. I was like, sorry. Nope, that was it.
I was like, you took the biggest pause. I was like, oh, okay, I guess he's done.
No, yeah, man, I've been getting loading wheels. Like you can see the rat spinning. I've been doing it a lot lately.
He just stops.
Good
You
old-
just
Yeah, you see the little thing spinning.
It was spinning ball of death, getting you good. All right, let's talk about track 7, Dance. Gave this a 6 out of 10.
Gave this a 6 out of 10.
Uh-oh. I also gave it a 6.
I was say,
you
yeah.
know what?
I was just saying, yep. Carl.
Nice. This was the power tempo. This was our sing along. The guitar duo was definitely good here. I did not like that the guitar stopped in the bridge though,
Just right
and I
in
liked
the
the key change. Cool. Well, thanks guys. That was a fun conversation.
all right. I'm out.
It does, in fact, say intro fucks again on this song. I'd like it to be known that is still mentioned even on the thumbs up emoji. All right, you guys ready for track 8? That was a rough one there. Whew. All right, track 8 is The Hardest Road, and I gave this an 8 out of 10.
Gave it a 7.
Gave this one a 5.
Give this a 3.
I guess I'll
Get
go. The vocals really struggled on this one, and I don't know. Again, it could just be processing. It could just be the choices. And I know in the studio it's all about going for it. You know, I know if they play this live, they'll either tune down or change keys or do something. But this one just really, really struggled, and it had a country music vibe, which means I'm not gonna like it. So that's pretty much all I had.
Well, I'm learning that me and Logan are very different people today, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But other than that, I didn't love. They do this thing in the bridge where they like truck stop key change you like 3 times, and it's very abrupt. And
This is the one where it goes up to a key that isn't like around it, and then goes back down.
Yeah.
To the original key. Yeah. Whatever part of the song just didn't belong
Yeah,
to
it
this
just
song.
felt like I got jerked around a bunch, and it didn't really feel like there was a place to stand.
It was the
So-
bridge. I wrote that in. It was
Yeah.
the bridge of this one. It just kind of like floats up and then just lives there and then just goes back down like it never happened.
Yeah.
And there's no transitions in or out of them. It was just weird.
Yeah. That was
Yeah, this song was weird because I thought the beginning was a little boring. I did have a note about liking the vocals on this.
Oh.
I think we just like the opposite vocals on
Apparently.
these songs. But I was writing all these notes and I'm like, cool, we're near the end of the song. And then the key changed. I was like, oh shit, there's 3 minutes left of this song. I was ready for it to be over, and it just kept going. It was still all right though. I didn't hate it, but
Heck yeah. The first line of my notes just says, not the direction theory-wise I thought it would go.
Okay. You heard it too.
we're all there.
So
We're
it was
all
like,
there.
I did
Yeah.
at least acknowledge it. I was kind of fucking with it, though, because it didn't... I don't think I necessarily took it so much as, like, an out-of-theory thing, so much as there was one guitar player that went forward and said, here's what I've got, and then another one that went forward and said, here's what I got, and they tried their best to make it mash.
Yeah.
And it maybe didn't translate so good, but I really more appreciated that it was, like, 2 different styles trying to play together, because that's very hard to do sometimes.
Valid.
And they tried their best, and I'll be damned if it wasn't fun. And it did make me want to listen, because I'll be damned if I couldn't guess where it was going to go. Like, I didn't know what the hell was happening. But it was a fun kind of thing. It was like, ooh, okay, that's funky, and you can kind of do that maybe if you try real hard and squint your eyes and turn to the left. But it was fun, so.
This one definitely suffered track placement for me too.
Yeah.
I think this was the point where I was getting really burned out.
This is an experimental track that goes like 1 or 2. This is early on.
We do this every album. We talk about how the album starts and then our scores go down and then they come back up for the end. And it's funny because it was really bad on this album. You know, I just got kind of burned out in the center and then came back up. So I think that was part of it.
All right. Let's talk about track 9. Monkey. Give us a 7.5.
gave it a 7.5.
I gave it a 6.5.
I gave it a 6.
Who wants it?
It was up tempo. That made me happy. Things got faster again. The only thing I said against it was the song is too long. This was one that I was like, oh goodness. Like you could have taken a chorus out for sure at least. It may be 2. I mean it was just long.
We have very similar notes. I was ready for the energy to be back. My one note that you didn't say was this is a weird place to bring the energy back so close to the end, but I think we needed it, so I was ready for it. And then, there is a lot of solo at the end of this.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys have mentioned that this is just Breakout 2. Like, this is like almost the exact same song. Which is like, it's not a bad thing. Breakout was the star track out of all of us, so it was good. It's very catchy. It's just, I don't know what the hell the words mean, but I'll be damned if I don't want to be your monkey too, damn it. That's
You
gonna make
didn't know
the
what the-
damn.
Do you guys have an HR department? Or?
It's him.
Wait.
Oh,
Hold on.
no.
I was gonna say hold on because I thought it was pretty obvious.
Oh, I mean,
Okay.
it was, but like,
Yeah.
just for the bit.
Middle school level innuendo there, buddy.
Yeah, it was just fun.
I liked all the crazy solo bits at the end. Like I don't know, guitar player brain went, yeah, I like that. I like a lot of the lines in between the monkey, like right after the note says guitar line after monkey. So after the end of the phrase, the guitar lick at the end of it, I really liked a lot.
You can go if you
our
want.
time stats are shit on this episode. That's just what I'm talking about.
The
Pad
switcher
the time.
average is up, though.
Yeah, that it is.
I mean, I don't know. I already talked about a conspiracy. Do you want me to think about another one?
Yeah, let's talk about
Yeah,
another
let's do
conspiracy.
Man, what do I have?
I don't know.
Do you have any good conspiracies? Somebody comment in the next 3 seconds.
That's the
Someone
thing. All my good conspiracy theories are now just like political vices that I don't want to talk about anymore. So,
Yeah, I mean,
at least
It's,
on the internet.
it's cold. It's cold everywhere in this part of the country. That's definitely global warming. So
Yeah, we're making album book club moves. That's fun. Trying new things, setting things up. We have merch in a store. You can buy that.
Oh yeah, hey, this cool hat. Oh, see.
Ironically enough, no one else wearing a piece of merch this week.
How do I know all of you and don't know that there's merch on the store?
Yeah, we have merch in the store. Plenty of merch.
Bro.
I'm
We'll
an
record some ad reads tomorrow. God.
I'm an avid wearer of our merch usually too. I pulled it out of the dryer today. I was like, that's not warm enough for right now. I have 3 layers on and I'm still shivering. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to get this cold here. It's really not. We're struggling. We're surviving. But
Nothing was worse than yesterday.
oh yeah.
I was happy when I walked outside today.
Yeah.
Right.
When I undug my car this morning or scraped my car, I was like, oh, it's not bad.
When you're like 26 is warm, that's it's a weird indicator.
See, I don't even. It's just the damn wind.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'll tie it in. It's 5-year cycles. every 5 or so years, we get like a really cold winter.
We should get fucked.
Yeah, we get nailed. Or maybe it's 7 year. I forget. It's a cycle. Everything's a cycle. Unicycle, motorcycle. There's all kinds of cycles, man.
It's all cyclical. It's not all spherical. It's all cyclical, man. The circle of life. Cycle. Fuck. Should we just like clip it or like
So
clip
congratulations,
farm for a
you've made
second
the.
now?
That would make my life a little easier, but I think we got enough for this one.
The fuck!
My God.
Sorry to everybody
Clipping my
watching.
ears.
Yeah, rip
bro.
headphone
Yeah.
users.
God.
All right, let's move on to track 10. A Lucky Man. I give this a 9 out of 10.
I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
I give it a 6.
I gave this a 5.
My note-taking skills really fucking devolved here.
Yup.
I think I really just wanted to start listening because 80s rock is not meant to examine. And the longer you try to examine it, the more you realize you can't. It's just, there ain't much to look at. But it's fun to listen to, and I enjoy it.
I have a note somewhere. It's not on this song, but it's somewhere on here that most of this album would make a really good driving playlist. This one I just thought was solid. I have like no notes written for this. It's like this is a lot of what we've heard. It's fine.
I didn't dig the synth sound. That's the only negative I have. The chord changes were not what I thought or where I thought in this one. This was the one that was a little different, and whoever wrote it, kudos, because it was different compared to the rest of the album, and that was cool at this point.
Yeah, same.
I will say, just there's a lot of skill, just instrumentation-wise, throughout these guys, and even just writing-wise, they're good, catchy songs.
Oh, yeah,
And most
absolutely.
of these could get played
Stuck
on
in your head.
radio 10 years ago, and it would make sense. But
That sounds so mean when you say it like that. I know that's not what you meant,
What
but
a backhanded comment.
yeah.
Jeez.
no, I actually enjoy this. Like, as I said, Breakout's been on my playlist. 2 more made the playlist today. This is not my first listen to this album. Won't be my last. I like going back to this one. All right, we ready to move on to the final track?
Oh yeah.
Track 11, Tomorrow. Gave this a 7 out of 10.
Gave it a 7 out of 10.
Ooh, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Noise.
Those are straight sevens, guys.
Noise.
It's jackpot.
See, right there. Your reason to not quit gambling.
Hold on. Can we? Does it? Nope. Not this week.
Can we get fireworks? Is that possible?
No.
No.
It's got to be the double.
Does it? Do we both have to double?
I don't remember. I got fucky thumbs. Don't ask
No.
me, bro.
I don't know. We tried. All right. Well, we can talk about the song if you want. It has a
Yeah,
killer,
that's fine.
I actually really like this track.
a killer intro.
Good intro.
Yeah.
Good intro.
Yeah.
And I really liked the vibe. Like I really liked the message of everything, and felt really good.
I actually liked the vocal harmonies on this one. This is the only one that I kind of liked the whole album. My big problem with it wasn't a closing song, but the solo guitar is killer. It's that 80s solo that I guess I was waiting for the rest of the album, and it happened here.
Yeah, my big note is this doesn't sound like an outro, but this is also where my note about it being the driving playlist is. I probably could have guessed it was going to be on the last one since we haven't had it yet, but
I don't think this is a traditional outro. I will agree that way. But I do think it's an outro. You get a lot of the themes that have been present in the rest of the album, which I guess, I mean, it's not hard when you're playing a lot of one thing. But they have had that country vibe in other places. And that like more modern sound. And then the old 80s rock sound. They've got the synth. There's just a whole bunch of what's been played being played again. And it feels like a goodbye. It kind of doesn't feel like you're supposed to stop with this album for the day. It's like, hey, you picked us up in the middle, keep going, we'll see you. And I enjoy that.
I was just laughing because it sounds like we all hated this song and we gave it straight sevens. We did not hate this song.
I like this
It's
song.
just it's funny. You know, that's what happens whenever you pull anything apart.
Yeah, I really like the one sound they played a lot of. But they did play a lot of it.
I don't know, you know, and it's a compliment to them because if any of this had come on, like, if I had an 80s music playlist and it played this instead of one of their albums, I don't think it would have stuck out that much, if at all. And I think that's a huge benefit for their fan base. So yeah, take it how you want.
Yeah. All right. I say we move right on to pacing. Gave this a 7 out of 10.
gave it a 7.
Ooh, I give it a 5.
Same.
Dang, explain that side of the couch.
I
It's a
think
different couch, man.
I think you could trim a lot of the album out. It's just too long and there's a lot of repetitive, and I understand wanting the quantity to make an album, but I don't know. A lot of it just felt like they could have been 2.5 minutes instead of 4. Even with solos, there wasn't a lot of content that was filling anything in those spots other than the solos. So you know, that was my major complaint. I don't know. Did you have anything other than that?
No, again, how I started the whole thing. Like, I'm just not the demo for this. The genres of music that I like and like am drawn to is just really opposite of what this is.
And 100% today might not have been the day. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's true
may
too.
go listen to this another day and rate everything 2 points higher just because
I was in a yeah.
this is one of those things I would have to be in the mood for, and today was not the day.
Ugh, my mic was far away from my face, so I didn't breathe into it. Yeah, as far as pacing goes, I don't even know how I rated it this week, to be completely honest, man. it went by the straight vibe.
I rated it because I had to.
Pretty much. I didn't get burnt out one lick. This is I am the demo.
Yeah.
I think it was just in the core sense of this, if you were to really give me this and say, how would you release it to the public? I'm going to look at you and say, take Breakout and Monkey, put it on a 45, and release it on Record Store Day at 1,500 copies and watch it go up to $300 in 2 years.
Well, I specifically said that earlier. I said this as an EP would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 of these tracks, which, you know, whatever, but would have been great.
It's like, I like all of the tracks on here. Those are the money makers. The rest of these are just fun. I would release the rest of them like as, you know, something else as an EP, and then the other 2 as big breakout like singles.
Part of that is just, again, the era. That was how things were kind of done at that point. You know, I mean, before like Def Leppard, nobody had that many hits on one album.
Mhm.
They would put 1 or 2 hits on an album and save them for the next album. You know, there was a considerable amount of filler episodes on every album in the 80s, and it's just part of the genre too. You know, as much as I give it heck for it.
Anything else from anyone?
Pacing's fine.
Nah, dude, it's cool.
It's fine.
Alrighty. Going to the album art. Gave it a 7.5.
I gave it a 7.
I gave it an 8.
Again, same. I like the album art a lot. That was really cool, especially when I learned what the ATBOP stood for. I really liked the concept behind the stage casing and stuff. I thought it was really cool.
It just reminded me of albums from this era. You know,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of older vinyl that were Fama members and stuff that were just given to me before records kind of were a thing again. But a lot of it looks like this, especially live albums tend to be tour cases and that kind of stuff. So I mean, it immediately I was like, oh, this is an 80s probably rock album. Like I knew it as soon as I saw the album cover.
Yeah, 100%. It looks like it fits. You know exactly what you're getting into when you see this album art.
Yeah, I to this day don't understand how Night Ranger hasn't been sued by Harley Davidson for the logo, but beside the point. It really lost 2.5 points because it does not anywhere on it say what ATBPO stands for, and that
Valid.
pissed me off. This is not a new thing.
No,
I have
no, it is
always
not.
hated
So-
it.
It apparently is a common phrase, is what it says in the Wikipedia, and I was like, no. I was like, it's not a common enough phrase for me to figure it out. It's not like LMFAO. Like, I'm not going to figure that out. But apparently that's what they were thinking, is that it was that kind of thing.
I respect it, and even just the letters make sense as the name of the album. It fits for
Yeah.
whatever reason. If you were like, yeah, ATBPO, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes that sense for that album. But just put it in like parentheses or something. Put it on this. Actually, I bet the vinyl spine probably does say the full name.
I have no idea. I don't know. I was just thinking I prefer that to the opposite, where, you know, we do these some weeks and the title track literally, or the track title takes up 2 lines on the thing, and I'm like, no one needs to know the 3 alternate titles, and there should not be a comma in your song name. You know, stuff like that drives me nuts. So,
If
I don't know.
Carson has a hard time making the thumbnail, you gotta change the name.
right. It's just too long.
That's how it goes, you know. All right, you guys ready to talk about album overall?
You're not gonna like it.
The biggin. Give this a 7.5.
Gave it a 7.
I gave it a 6.
I gave it a 5.
I can go. It's not. I'm not the audience. You know, I'm not. If I'm gonna listen to something that sounds like this, I'm gonna listen to the earlier stuff. And kudos for doing it. Definitely kudos for doing it. But I'm not gonna buy a new record if it's the same as what you were putting out before.
I mean, I'm not against any of it. That's why it's a 5, because like it's not for me, but I'm not against any of it. It was good stuff. I literally watched Logan's face drop when I said 5, though. I said 5 and he did.
I think I just locked in. I knew your score before you said it. We went over our scores earlier.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's just like I said, nothing bad at all. No disrespect or anything. It's just not my jam.
Yeah, overall, I liked it. I will say this, I don't think today was the day for this album. I think I would have higher scores on a different day. But I liked it, and I think my scores aren't bad either way. So
Yeah. Frankly, I think if you gave this album to me on a summer night with a 12-pack of Coors, it's going to be over. It's going to be a 10 out of 10 all day. But this is just a fun album. As Carl said, their older stuff is better. I think by a mile. So, and I rated this highly. So, imagine what I think about it.
You know, I didn't even think about that. Like, this is the wrong kind of music to be listening to when it's like 3 degrees outside.
Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
yeah,
awful.
like we picked the worst
No.
time.
We need a garage and a beer and lawn chairs.
and a TV,
TV,
on the wall,
darts, something.
sketchily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many other things than 26-degree warmth that we had outside.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt, I tried to be as fair as I could, but I know it was definitely still a victim of circumstance. Like, just was the wrong time.
Yeah. I think as far as modern, like, 80s rock album goes, I would say this is one of the better ones. I've heard some guys, they're bad.
Yeah.
But I actually enjoy this. I will go back to it. Will I pick it up on vinyl? Maybe. Not before their older ones.
Maybe.
I don't know. I see both sides of it. I see the whole point of selling new records and trying to make money on that side. And depending on how your deal works out, sometimes putting out a not very awesome record makes you a ton of money. And I'm not saying this isn't a very awesome album. I'm saying sometimes that makes you good money, and I understand why. It's just... I don't know the whole business decision behind it. And I guess they've continued putting music out the whole time. From what I saw, it's never stopped. They've never taken a break, so it's not like they disappeared and came back.
I think they've just had members go away for a time, like for other projects, because I know their bass player, lead singer, went and was in Damn Yankees, I think. So Night Ranger was like on a break or hiatus or something for that. And then Brad Gillis went and played with Ozzy Osbourne when Randy Rhoads died.
Right, yeah, he was the guitar player between Randy and Zach.
Mm-hmm. So it's just, I think they just had other like fill-ins come and play in that band. It's just an amalgamation of just people that want to go play, and that's just fun.
Yeah, and that makes so much more sense than like, because if you had told me this was their comeback album, I would have been like, but knowing that it's
just their keep going album.
It's just the keep going album. That's it's a different thing, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think it was amazing or anything.
Heck yeah! Alrighty, big thank you to Alex for coming on.
Very last minute. Give huge props to Alex.
Very last.
Yeah.
We
5
kinda-
o'clock. It was like noon.
No, it was this morning.
It was like 1 o'clock.
No,
It
this
was
morning. It was like
12 minutes past 11.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It was still this morning.
I'm sorry.
I remember the exact time. I looked at my phone to make the phone call that goes, emergency. Can Alex show up?
I'm like helping a customer, and he looks up. He's like, "You want to be on the live tonight?" And I was like,
It's just how it be. What are we listening to next week, Conrad?
Next week, we will be listening to Phantoms by Mariana's Trench, featuring Joey from Harmless Habit.
Heck yeah. Thank
He's
you.
not on the album. He'll be on the live. Sorry.
Damn.
Wait, does he know? What is Lamont that always is the?
Yeah, we'll make sure Lamont.
Okay,
knows.
because
Well,
we gotta make sure Lamont knows, because this has only been 2 years in the making.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. I think that's it. See you.